So what's driving the shift? There's a number of things that are happening right now that are causing this shift in in the housing market in Central Florida. We're seeing homes staying on the market longer. This is an indication that I have said countless times is an indication of the transition from a seller's market to a buyer's market. Back in 2020, 21, we saw houses flying off the shelves in, sometimes hours. Now we're seeing homes staying on the market for more than 50 days, sometimes 60 or more. There are homes on the market right now that are, probably 120 to 160 days. That is a good indication that we're heading towards a buyer's market. And the difference between a buyer's market is who has the power. And that's really what we want to look at. When buyers start to have the power, they have more negotiation strength than the sellers do. For the longest time, for the past few years, sellers have had all the negotiation strength. So seeing that homes have been staying on the market longer, that's really good for buyers. Now, when it comes to looking at the market overall, we're seeing price reductions across the board. Whether there are homes in the $150,000, $200,000 range or homes well above $1 million. I have seen homes, as a matter of fact, I've been out to homes just this past weekend where one home had $300,000 price reduction, and another one had 50. So we're seeing this everywhere. And these were homes at the $1.1 to $1.5 million range. And these are homes, actually 1.7. So these are homes that are in that upper echelon in the luxury market, but we're seeing the same price reductions there as well. Now, as we see, more time on the market, we're also seeing more inventory. So we're seeing more homes not only stay on the market longer, but we're seeing homes come to the market that hadn't been there before. Now, why is that? I think people have gotten a little battle weary from everything that's been going on. I've got people that I know, a nurse friend of mine, as well as some other folks, some buyers, and a couple of sellers. They're all kind of tired of where they're at and they want to move forward. My sellers have been, how can I put this? They've been stymied by the market because, we went from 3.5% interest rates up to 7. So they wanted, like that nurse friend of mine, her and her husband, they really want to sell their home and move into another area. They don't like the neighborhood. They bought the home not knowing what the neighborhood was going to be like. I didn't sell them the home. I didn't become friends with them until after, I didn't meet them until after they had purchased that home. But the point here is they bought into that home at 3.5%, and now they feel like they're stuck. And a lot of people feel that way. And so as people have gotten more weary of waiting and waiting for the market crash, okay, you see it all over the internet, all over YouTube. Everybody's talking about the market crash. And they just don't see it happening. And they're like, you know what? I need to buy. I need to get out of the situation that I'm in, and I need to make a purchase. So now they're bringing homes back on the market. So we're seeing inventories rise. And as inventories rise, we're also seeing homes stay on the market longer and seeing price reductions because people sometimes don't think in terms of what the market is now. They're still thinking back to 2020, 21, 22, where they could have gotten a lot more, but the market shifts, and that's what we're having to look at. Now, the other thing, too, is a lot of my buyers are having mortgage rate fatigues. They're looking at the mortgage rates going, okay, when are they going to come down? When are they going to come down? And it's getting wearisome. It's getting tiresome. They're fatigued. They're looking at all of this going, well, I've been wanting to buy a house for a very long time. Maybe I should just jump in the market and see what happens. And that's okay. Sometimes you have to do that. I did that. A lot of people have done that. You have to kind of figure it out for yourself. But jumping into the market, making a decision, buying a home, as long as you can afford the payments, is not a bad way to go, because when the interest rates eventually will drop, it's all cyclical. When they do drop, you can refinance, and you're going to have a much better payment, and you're going to have a much easier time of being able to afford that home. So you have a lot to think about. The other thing too, when it comes to concessions or incentives, sellers are now back online with concessions. They're willing to pay for a home warranty. They're willing to pay down your interest rate. They're willing to pay closing costs or some closing costs. And that doesn't matter like what part of the market you're in. Just recently, I had a sweet couple that bought a house that was in the like low 200s. And we ended up going a little bit above because we knew the house would appraise a little bit higher. And we ended up getting the house about maybe $5,000 more than what list price was. We took that $5,000 and put it in towards closing costs. And she also had, or they also had a first-time homebuyers program they were on. So that gave them an additional, I think, $8,000 or $10,000. And so altogether, they were able to get into that house. Now, this is happening everywhere. Sellers are willing to fix things. They're willing to deal with people that have homes that they have to sell first. They know that their homes are going to sit on the market much, much longer. They don't want that. So the number of sellers that are willing to give you concessions, whether it's buying down your interest rate, whether it's paying for some or all of your closing costs, or home warranties or fixing, making repairs, all of that, it's just completely shifted. Where before the power was with the sellers, now the power is starting to come back to the buyers. So that's kind of where we're at in this market. We have more negotiating room. We have lower competition. We have greater opportunities to be able to purchase a home no matter where you are in terms of your budget or the price range that you're in. So if you guys are looking to make a purchase, if there's a home out there that you really like and you want more information, feel free to let me know. All my information is in the description below. And if you want to get in touch with me, just go to talkwithvince.com. Just talkwithvince.com. You can do like a www.talkwithvince.com and get on my Calendly and set up a Zoom meeting with me, and I'd be more than happy to just sit down with you and spend a half an hour discussing how I can help you and how we can make your dreams of home ownership come true. Anyways, hope you're having a great one. Take care.